You made a mistake! You let some guy come between your legs! That is not a mistake, Kate!
In the world of celebrities, not everything is as glamorous as it looks on the surface. Fame, money, spotlight, and stage lights can't always protect them from betrayal. Even the most powerful black stars have fallen into the trap of infidelity. They trusted, they gave their whole hearts, and then they were shocked when they learned the truth. Their wives had used their bodies to trade for benefits, power, or opportunities worth a fortune. The 17 stories I'm about to tell are proof that when fame, money, and power are put on the scale, trust becomes more fragile than ever. 17. Marvin Gaye. The soul legend had no idea his wife was selling her body for a $450,000 house and a Mercedes. Marvin Gaye was one of the greatest soul voices in America, the man behind a string of hits and considered a musical icon of his era. He was famous, wealthy, and admired, but his married life was not nearly as bright. In the summer of 1973, Marvin Gaye met Janice Hunter at a party in Los Angeles after his album Let's Get It On shook up the music scene. At the time, Janice was just 17 years old, young, beautiful, and very ambitious, while Marvin was at the peak of his fame but had just come out of a failed first marriage. The two crashed into each other like a storm. Endless nights wrapped up in music, alcohol, and stimulants made their relationship move extremely fast. Marvin believed he had found the woman who understood him, loved him, and was ready to stay with him until the end. On October 10, 1977, they got married in a ceremony in Hawaii. The early years of their marriage felt like a fairy tale. Big house, luxury cars, parties, travel, and a lavish lifestyle made anyone looking in think Janice was the luckiest woman alive. But by 1980, Marvin started noticing strange signs. Janice would often leave the house with excuses about recording demos, meeting producers, or auditioning for singing roles. She would be gone for days with little contact, then come home with new clothes and new jewelry that Marvin had no idea where she got the money to buy. But every time he questioned her, Janice would just brush it off by saying she had received money from new career opportunities. By then, Marvin was deep into alcohol and cocaine, blacking out multiple times and no longer in control of family life. He believed his wife's explanations that she was just trying to build her own career, but he also grew more jealous and suspicious. Yet the truth came out in March 1982 when Marvin hired a private detective to follow his wife. The report completely destroyed him. Janice wasn't just cheating with Frankie Beverly, she was also involved with Teddy Pendergrass. But what shocked Marvin the most wasn't the cheating itself. It was that Janice was receiving money, houses, cars, jewelry in exchange for giving herself in private nights. Frankie Beverly had given Janice a house worth $450,000 in Beverly Hills after 6 months of their secret relationship. Teddy Pendergrass took Janice on tour as a backup singer who never actually stepped on stage, and in return he gave her $120,000 plus a brand new Mercedes. After reading the full report, Marvin went crazy, smashing up the recording studio, crying loudly, and then falling into a deep collapse. After that shock, he cut off all financial support and forced Janice to sign a harsh divorce agreement in 1984. He never forgave that woman. To him, it wasn't just betrayal in marriage, it was a betrayal of honor, trust, and the happy life he thought the two of them had built together. 16. O.J. Simpson. The NFL star had no clue his wife was using her body to trade for money, luxury cars, and deals with Marcus Allen. O.J. Simpson was a football legend, a television star, and an American sports icon with enormous fame and money. He had it all: career, fame, and a picture-perfect family. But behind that marriage was the darkness of betrayal. In August 1977, O.J. Simpson met Nicole Brown at a party in Los Angeles. At the time, Nicole was just 18 years old, working as a model and waitress. While Simpson was already a famous NFL superstar known across America. He was captivated by her beautiful looks and radiant youth. Their relationship started in secret and lasted many years before they officially married on February 2, 1985, in Laguna Beach. Their life at that time was the perfect family image on magazine covers: big house, nice cars, well-behaved kids, and friends who were all celebrities. But inside that marriage there was control, jealousy, and long arguments. By 1992, Nicole separated for a while after multiple domestic violence incidents. During the time they lived apart, her life changed completely. She started appearing more at private parties, meeting players, producers, and wealthy people in the sports and entertainment world. 3 months after she started living separately, O.J. unheard rumors that Nicole was involved with Marcus Allen, who had once been his close protege at USC and a longtime friend. Simpson had trusted Allen so much that he even hosted his wedding at his own house. So when the rumors surfaced, he completely refused to believe they were true. He thought they were just malicious gossip. But then the truth hit him like a painful blow. Friends showed Simpson security camera footage from October 15, 1994. Nicole wasn't just meeting Marcus Allen. She was also dating many other wealthy men she met through parties and secret trips. Some of the relationships involved exchanging money, gifts, advertising contracts, and even a beachfront condo. Nicole had also received an advertising deal worth about $250,000, luxury cars, and other cash, thanks to those connections. Right after watching the video, Simpson drove off in a rage, went to Nicole's house, and smashed up the furniture. They argued fiercely for 3 hours. Friends said that from that moment on, Simpson changed completely, always suspicious, always watching Nicole, and no longer trusting anyone around him. The cheating, the money issues, and being betrayed by a friend pushed their marriage toward an irreversible tragedy. Simpson had threatened that if he caught her with anyone, he would kill her. Then, on June 12, 1994, Nicole and her new boyfriend, Ron Goldman, were murdered right outside their home in Brentwood. O.J. Simpson immediately became the main suspect. His trial lasted 9 months and was called the trial of the century. Even though he was found not guilty, the name O.J. Simpson could never escape serious damage. In the end, as we all know, the sports legend O.J. Simpson became forever linked to one of the most shocking cases in American media history. 15. Miles Davis. The jazz genius had no idea his wife was using her body to trade for $80,000 and a studio with Jimi Hendrix. Miles Davis was a jazz legend, one of the most influential musicians of the 20th century. A man who changed jazz history multiple times with revolutionary albums. He was famous, talented, and respected, but his marriage to Betty Davis ended in a betrayal that haunted him for life. In 1968, Miles Davis met Betty Mabry at a jazz rock party in New York. Betty was just over 20 years old, a singer and model with a strong, rebellious personality who knew many famous rock artists. It was Betty who introduced Miles to the world of rock, funk, and all-night parties. Miles was swept into this new life like a whirlwind. He was obsessed with Betty, with her lifestyle, and with the fresh music world she brought him. The two got married on September 30th, 1968, in Las Vegas in a simple ceremony, but that passionate marriage only lasted a little over a year. While Miles was focused on creating the album Bitches Brew, Betty would often go out to studios, meet rock artists and producers. She said it was to find singing opportunities and build her career. Miles, buried in music and recording day and night, didn't pay too much attention to his wife's personal life. He believed Betty was just pursuing her own music career. By the end of June 1969, Miles started hearing rumors in the music scene that Betty was very close with Jimi Hendrix. At first, he thought it was just a friendship between artists. But later, he read handwritten letters from his wife to Jimmy and heard friends describe their late-night private meetings at Electric Lady Studio and hotels in New York. Everyone believed Betty wasn't just meeting Hendrix to talk about music, and after Miles investigated, the truth was exactly what people had suspected. Betty had received about $80,000 and a small studio in Greenwich Village in exchange for private collaborations with Hendrix and a few others in the rock music production scene. When Miles learned the full story, he exploded in a jealous rage. He smashed musical instruments in the house and kicked Betty out in the middle of the night. Their marriage ended very quickly after that. In August 1969, they officially divorced. Miles later wrote in his autobiography that Betty was too wild and that marriage was one of the most painful memories of his life. The ironic part is that the woman who hurt him the most was also the one who opened the door to a new musical direction that led to Bitches Brew, one of the greatest albums in jazz history. Their marriage lasted just over a year, but the story of betrayal for money made it one of the most shocking scandals in the music world at that time. 14. Lawrence Fishburne. Hollywood's most powerful actor had no clue his wife was using her body to trade for a $1.2 million film project. Lawrence Fishburne is one of Hollywood's most powerful actors, famous for iconic roles and a career spanning decades. He had fame, money, and a marriage once considered one of the most solid in Hollywood. In 1997, Lawrence Fishburne met Gina Torres on the set of The Matrix. Gina was a young, ambitious, strong, and captivating actress. Lawrence was quickly drawn to her confidence and unique beauty. They dated secretly for 2 years, then married on September 22, 2002, in a formal ceremony in Malibu. For many years, they appeared as the perfect couple, stable careers, a warm family, and a public image that was almost impossible to criticize. Anyone looking in thought it was a rock-solid marriage between two successful adults. But deep inside that marriage, hidden currents were rising. Busy work schedules, film shoots, and constant travel meant they spent less and less time together. By early fall 2016, the two had started living separately without announcing it publicly. Lawrence still believed it was just a normal rough patch in a long marriage. He still thought everything could go back to the way it was, but he never got that chance. What he got instead were photos of Gina Torres kissing a stranger at a cafe in Los Angeles. Page 6 published them on September 15, 2017. The photos were crystal clear. There was no way to explain them differently. Gina wasn't wearing her wedding ring, her hands were cupping the man's face, and the kiss was long and public. The man was later identified as Kevin Wright, a solar energy investor from Utah. Kevin Wright had invested about $1.2 million in an independent film project that Gina was involved in. The private meetings, secret trips, and work discussions at his house in Utah were the price for that investment. When Lawrence saw those photos, he stayed silent for a whole week out of pure disappointment, and no one in the family or his friends could reach him. When he reappeared a week later, Lawrence Fishburne immediately filed for an emergency divorce. Instead of arguing in front of the media, he cut off all contact with his ex-wife and focused only on work and his children. For many in Hollywood, this became a classic example of marriages that look perfect from the outside but are quietly rotting on the inside. 13. Seal. The soul singer had no idea his wife was using her body to trade for a $3 million Hawaii villa with the bodyguard right inside their own home. Seal is a globally famous soul singer with many major hits and a luxurious life beside a top supermodel. He had a solid career and a dreamlike family that many people admired. In 2004, Seal met Heidi Klum at a fashion party in New York. She was a famous supermodel, sharp, smart, and he was a well-known artist with a strong personality. The two quickly fell for each other. On May 10, 2005, they got married in Mexico in a romantic ceremony and became one of the most admired couples in Hollywood. Their life revolved around travel, luxurious villas, children, and an almost perfect family image. For many years, Seal believed he was living in a stable marriage. Martin Kristen, the family's personal bodyguard, had become an indispensable part of their small family. He had been with them for 4 years, joining trips, protecting the kids, and trusted like family. Seal even treated Martin like a brother, someone he never imagined would cross the line. In early 2012, that trust collapsed. On January 6th, Heidi suddenly filed for divorce. Not long after, leaked photos surfaced on social media. In the pictures, Heidi was being intimate with Martin Kristen during a vacation. The close gestures, seductive looks, and the distance between them were no longer that of boss and employee. Those photos hit Seal's reputation and trust hard. According to sources and reports Seal later gathered, the relationship between Heidi and Martin wasn't just emotional. Martin had connected Heidi with real estate investors, opening up big deals. Heidi received 2 villas in Hawaii worth more than $3 million total through a web of overlapping emotional and financial exchanges. On January 11th that year, Seal appeared in front of the media, unable to stay calm. He was furious when he mentioned his wife having fun with the help while their marriage wasn't even officially over. After that, Seal cut off contact with his wife and dove into a tense legal battle. The marriage, once praised by everyone, turned into a battlefield. The two finally divorced after 2 years of bitter fighting. 12. Matt Barnes. The NBA star drove 95 miles per hour to catch his wife using her body to trade for a $180,000 contract, and an SUV with his former teammate, Matt Barnes, was a famous NBA star known for his fiery playing style, a former champion who was seen as a strong personality, who lived honestly and valued family above all. But his marriage ended in a betrayal that shocked the sports world. In 2008, Matt Barnes met Gloria Govan at an NBA party in Los Angeles after a game. Gloria was working as a model and sports event manager, very energetic and ambitious about building her own name. Matt was quickly attracted to her confidence and the way she stood out in a crowd. They dated publicly and appeared together at many sports and TV events. On June 20th, 2010, they got married at a luxury resort in Malibu. The wedding had many famous NBA players in attendance. Their life at that time could be called a dream for many people. In the years that followed, Matt played constantly and was often away, while Gloria started organizing events, working as an MC, and building connections in the sports world. The fast pace of life caused the two to start living separately in 2014, but they still hadn't decided to divorce. Matt thought they just needed time to advance their careers and sort out outside issues. On October 17, 2015, while Matt was at preseason training camp in Las Vegas, he got a call from his son saying Derek Fisher was at Gloria's house in Los Angeles. Derek Fisher was no stranger. He was a former teammate and longtime friend who had eaten dinner, hung out, and appeared with Matt's family many times. Matt immediately hired someone to confirm and discovered that Gloria and Fisher were actually meeting regularly. Fisher had hired Gloria as MC and ambassador for a series of sports events he organized. The contract was worth about $180,000, plus a luxury SUV. The two had taken several private trips to Palm Springs under the excuse of event planning and work. After that, Matt drove nearly 95 miles per hour in a rage. He went straight to Gloria's house, entered through the backyard, and beat Fisher badly. The incident spread across the NBA in just a few hours. After the event, Matt filed for divorce, fought for custody of the kids, and battled over millions in assets. For him, The shock wasn't just that his wife cheated, it was that the other man was his friend and former teammate. 11. Scottie Pippen. The Bulls legend had no idea his wife was using her body to trade for $750,000 in investments and fashion fame with rapper Future. Scottie Pippen is an NBA legend, an icon of the Chicago Bulls, a man who won multiple championships and is considered the greatest right-hand man in basketball history. He had fame, money, and a career that many admired. Near Christmas 1995, Scottie met Larsa at a charity party in Chicago. At the time, she was very young, beautiful, ambitious, and knew exactly how to talk, so people would trust her. Scottie quickly got swept up in the relationship. They dated secretly, then married in 1997 in a big wedding with over 300 guests. For many years, Scottie believed he had a perfect family. He played, made money, built his reputation, while Larsa was a glamorous model wife, fashion entrepreneur, and part of high society. Everything started changing in 2015 when Scottie was frequently away for his commentator work and basketball events. During that time, Larsa started appearing more at parties in Los Angeles and Miami. She began showing up next to rapper Future, a big name in hip-hop. Photos of them on private trips and flirty messages were leaked. Future had sponsored about $750,000 to help Larsa launch a fashion shoe line and invest in real estate projects she was involved in. In return, there were private trips to Atlanta and Miami and discreet parties. Scottie only found out when the news was blowing up all over social media. Some people said Future did it as revenge because when he was a kid, he asked Scottie for an autograph and got turned down. No one knows how true that story was, but everyone saw Scottie basically disappear from social media at that time. It was probably the worst period of his life. It took him 3 months before he posted an old photo with a sarcastic caption about Gucci flip-flops. On December 13, 2016, Scottie filed for divorce. He completely cut off financial support for his ex-wife and focused on his kids and his work. 10. Mike Tyson. The scariest fighter in the world went numb when he found out his wife was using her body to trade for $65,000 and acting opportunities with Brad Pitt. Mike Tyson was the heavyweight boxing legend, the youngest champion in history, and a man who once made the whole world afraid every time he stepped into the ring. In December 1987, Mike met Robin Givens at a Hollywood party in New York. Robin was a young, beautiful, smart, and very ambitious actress. Mike was at the peak of his fame then, making millions per fight. They fell in love fast and married fast on February 4, 1988, in a small ceremony with only close family and friends. The marriage seemed perfect, but only a few months later, arguments started over money, control, and fame. By the end of 1988, while they were in the middle of filing and then withdrawing messy divorce papers, Mike still regularly visited the old house to see Robin and keep a physical relationship. He thought there was still a bond between them, still feelings, or at least something hard to break. But he didn't know that during that time Robin had started meeting other men in the film industry to advance her career. On the morning of November 6, 1989, Mike drove to Robin's house in Los Angeles as usual. But this time, he saw Robin walking with a young, skinny, blonde guy. It was Brad Pitt. The two had just left a roadside cafe and were about to get in the car. Mike felt his head spinning like he had just taken a harder punch than any he had ever received in the ring. Later, Mike learned that Robin wasn't just dating. She was using physical relationships to trade for acting opportunities and management contracts. In Brad Pitt's case, Robin was introduced to a small TV project, received about $65,000, and got the chance to sign with an acting management company. Her private meetings and trips to Los Angeles and New York happened while Mike still thought their marriage was only temporarily strained. Mike later said that the moment he saw Robin with Brad Pitt, left him emotionally paralyzed. The man who had knocked out dozens of fighters in just a few rounds couldn't do anything in that situation. He turned around and left without hitting anyone or causing a scene, but that shock stayed with him for many years. Their divorce dragged money, assets, and reputation into a major legal war. Mike considered it one of the most serious wounds of his life. 9. Deion Sanders. The flashy sports star had no idea his wife was using her body to trade for a $1.8 million penthouse and $420,000 with a real estate investor. Deion Sanders was a rare sports superstar who succeeded in both the NFL and MLB. An icon of speed, fame, and money, one of the most famous athletes in America with a brilliant career and a perfect family image. In 1993, Deion met Pilar at an NFL party in Atlanta. Pilar was a young, very beautiful, very ambitious model who was especially good at networking. Deion quickly fell for her. They dated for a few years and married on June 21, 1996, at a luxury resort in Hawaii. For many years, Deion believed he had a stable marriage. His wife did business and took care of the kids while he focused on playing, making money, and building his reputation. Starting in 2007, Pilar frequently went on business trips for real estate and fashion work. The trips to Dallas, Miami, and Los Angeles became more and more frequent. At first, Deion didn't suspect anything because he thought it was just work. But then he gradually discovered the truth. Between 2007 and 2011, over 4 years, Pilar had been involved with at least 5 different men. It wasn't just cheating. These were relationships that traded for business benefits. A real estate developer in Dallas transferred 2 penthouses worth about $1.8 million total to Pilar after several private business trips. A CEO of an entertainment company in Miami sponsored about $420,000 for Pilar's fashion brand. In return, there were private yacht trips with just the 2 of them. Meanwhile, Deion naively thought his wife was just out doing business and building her career. On January 22, 2011, Deion firmly filed for divorce, and everything exploded like a bomb in the media. The 2 constantly accused each other on Twitter, television, and in court. Deion hired detectives. It released evidence of infidelity and accused Pilar of deceiving him for years. Pilar fought back by countersuing for defamation and accusing Deion of cheating too. The divorce turned into a nearly 2-year media war where assets, children, and reputations were all dragged into the fight. In the end, by 2013, Deion won many of the asset and custody issues. But the price was a broken family image, a reputation pulled into scandal, and a 15-year marriage that ended in pain. 8. Will Smith. The Hollywood superstar accepted an open relationship after learning his wife was using her body to trade for a $300,000 podcast and media contracts with August Alsina. Will Smith is a Hollywood superstar, singer, actor, and global producer with many blockbuster films. He is considered one of the most successful men in the entertainment industry. But starting in 2015, the marriage between Will and Jada began to crack under career pressure and personal life stress. During that time, Jada met August Alsina, a young singer who was friends with her son Jaden. At first, she was just helping him mentally and with his health, but over time, the relationship became more intimate than friendship. While Will thought their marriage was just temporarily distant, Jada was stepping into an affair behind his back. From 2015 to 2017, Jada and August frequently met privately in hotels, traveled together, and appeared at small events. August helped Jada connect with content producers and media outlets, helping her develop her podcast and talk show projects, bringing in media contracts worth about $300,000. In return, there were intimate nights and a secret emotional relationship. After discovering the truth, Will and Jada separated. Will focused more on his own career, limited appearances with his wife, and called it the biggest shock of his emotional life. In 2020, they appeared together on Red Table Talk. Jada casually admitted to the relationship she called an entanglement. In that moment, Will sat silent in disappointment, his face tired and pained. It was the moment the whole world saw one of the most powerful men become powerless in his own marriage. 7. Bobby Brown. The R&B singer only found out his wife was using her body to trade for a $150,000 contract in studio after reading her diary. Bobby Brown was a famous R&B star, a member of New Edition, a successful singer with many best-selling albums, and his headline-making marriage to Whitney Houston once shook the music world. In 1989, Bobby met Whitney Houston at a party after the Grammy Awards in Los Angeles. At the time, Whitney was already a pop superstar with a world-famous voice, while Bobby was a rising, rebellious R&B singer. They dated secretly for a long time and married on July 18, 1992, in a lavish wedding that drew special media attention. For many years, Bobby thought he had married the most famous woman in the world and that his life was a dream full of money and fame. But only 3 years later, their marriage began to crack because of drugs, career pressure, and constant touring. Bobby also discovered many secrets through Whitney's personal diary and her manager. Whitney wasn't just involved with Tupac Shakur, she was also involved with several music producers in exchange for collaboration opportunities and music projects. In the case with Tupac, Whitney was invited to contribute vocals to an unreleased music project and received about $150,000 in cash plus access to a small recording studio in Atlanta. Their private meetings happened multiple times between 1995 and 1996 while Bobby was on tour. When Tupac died in 1996, Whitney was devastated for days, which made Bobby believe their relationship wasn't just professional. Their marriage dragged on in chaos for many years before they divorced in 2007. Perhaps Bobby couldn't accept his wife's betrayal and chose to drag things out for years as a form of revenge. 6. Rick Fox. The Lakers star had no idea his wife was using her body to trade for $900,000 from Nike and a cosmetics contract with Michael Jordan. Rick Fox, former LA Lakers star, was married to 1984 Miss America Vanessa Williams. The marriage seemed perfect until 10 years later, when Rick received an anonymous text message with shocking photos. Vanessa had used her body to trade for opportunities and contracts with Michael Jordan. Jordan was obsessed with Vanessa at the time and helped her get access to Nike to create her own product line in exchange for private trips to Chicago. Later, he also invested a huge $900,000 into Vanessa's cosmetics brand. On April 5, 2004, Rick suddenly filed for divorce without warning Vanessa, packed his things, and left their Malibu mansion. The event caused a huge stir in both Hollywood and the NBA. The public was buzzing everywhere about a marriage that fell apart under mysterious circumstances. Later, Rick publicly stated in the press, "I can't stay with someone who uses her body like a bargaining chip." The incident left a deep mark on Vanessa's career and personal life, while Rick focused on acting and considered it a painful lesson about trust and love in the glamorous world. 5. Michael Strahan. The bitter truth about his wife using her body to trade for a $280,000 villa in Puerto Rico. Michael Strahan, NFL star and television host, had achieved great success in both his sports and entertainment careers. In 2014, while Michael was excitedly preparing for his Hall of Fame induction, his world suddenly collapsed. He had installed a tracking device on his fiancée Nicole Murphy's car and discovered she was in Puerto Rico with former NBA player Jim Jackson. From the images he later saw, Nicole and Jim were hugging, kissing, and being affectionate on the beach under the golden sun and waves. After hiring someone to investigate, Michael learned that Nicole wasn't just cheating. She had also used her body to trade for a $280,000 contract and a luxurious vacation villa arranged by Jim Jackson as a sports brand representative. On July 18th, just 1 week after learning the truth, Michael officially announced the split publicly on social media, filed to dispute joint assets, and withdrew to focus on his television career. 4. Stevie J. The powerful hip-hop producer was stunned when he learned his wife's list of lovers came with music contracts, studios, and a penthouse. Stevie J, a powerful Atlanta music producer, was famous for countless hits and deep influence in the hip-hop world. Stevie J married Jocelyn Hernandez on December 3, 2013, after their very public relationship on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Jocelyn, 24 years old, a rapper and bold model, quickly became the center of attention thanks to her sharp rap and shocking style. Stevie, 39 years old, thought he was entering marriage with a passionate and daring wife, never suspecting it was a trap full of drama waiting for him. By 2014, when the new season of the show aired, Stevie discovered through leaked messages and videos that Jocelyn had openly listed famous people she had slept with: rapper Drake, Rick Ross, and NBA player Kevin Durant. She wasn't just cheating, she was using her body to trade for music contracts and real estate. Drake traded 3 months with her for a feature on a mixtape, along with $200,000 payment and a penthouse in Miami. Rick Ross invested in a recording studio. Kevin Durant gave her a sports brand ambassador role. Stevie had a fierce argument with his wife right after and filed for divorce on August 15th. By early 2015, the two officially went their separate ways. 3. Shaquille O'Neal. The NBA superstar had no idea his wife was using her body to trade for $350,000 and 2 houses in Orlando with her personal trainer. Shaquille O'Neal, NBA superstar and global sports icon, was once famous for his on-court achievements and massive media career. He had married Shawnee O'Neal, a model and television producer, in a grand wedding in Miami. In 2009, while Shaq was still playing for the Lakers, news started spreading that Shawnee was cheating with her personal trainer. Our leaked emails and stories from her friends revealed that Shawnee wasn't just having an emotional affair. She had also received $350,000 as a gift and introductions to investors to buy 2 houses in Orlando. Shaq, who had openly admitted to cheating with thousands of women himself, faced the feeling of betrayal for the first time. He was hurt and furious, quickly filing for divorce on November 4th of that year. Shaq later spoke openly on his podcast, admitting he had once been a terrible person but could not accept betrayal from his wife. 2. Chris Howard. The NFL player had no idea his wife was using her body to trade for a $450,000 acting role and a Beverly Hills apartment with a producer. Chris Howard, former NFL player, was known for his impressive sports career and influence on major teams. He was once married to actress Gabrielle Union. In 2003, while Gabrielle was filming Bad Boys 2, Chris started noticing strange signs: constant late-night shooting schedules and expensive gifts she bought herself that he knew nothing about. By June 2004, Gabrielle openly admitted she had not been faithful. She had used her body to trade for an important supporting role and $450,000 in cash from producers. Not stopping there, she was also involved with a famous director in exchange for a luxury apartment in Beverly Hills to build up her own assets. Chris was stunned by this betrayal. The pain forced him to file for an emergency divorce right after, refusing any reconciliation. He later spoke openly on a podcast that he never imagined she would use her own body to buy power and opportunities. Their divorce battle dragged on until 2006. After that, Chris left the football field earlier than planned to heal the heavy emotional wounds. 1. Gilbert Arenas. The NBA star was shocked when he found out his wife was using her body to trade for a $1.4 million commercial property and $620,000 through seductive emails with Shaquille O'Neal, Gilbert Arenas, a promising NBA star who once lit up the Washington Wizards with spectacular plays on the court. In 2005, Gilbert met Laura Govan at an NBA training center. The two quickly fell into a passionate relationship. Laura, 23 years old, a single mother with strong ambitions, made Gilbert fall head over heels with no way out. They lived together, got engaged in 2007, and married on July 12, 2008, in a luxurious villa in Los Angeles. They had 4 children together and seemed to have a perfect, happy life. In November 2009, while Gilbert was enjoying his $111 million contract, he received a series of leaked emails filled with intimate, seductive messages from Laura to Shaquille O'Neal. The emails revealed she wasn't just cheating. She had turned her body into a business tool. She was introduced to investors, received 2 commercial properties worth $1.4 million and $620,000 in cash for a fashion project. Gilbert completely collapsed, his heart feeling squeezed. He held a press conference to publicly accuse her and divorced in 2010. After the shock, Gilbert lost focus, his performance dropped, and he later admitted on television that those emails had turned him from an NBA king into the clown that the entire league laughed at. All right, which one of these 17 stars surprised you the most? Leave a comment below and share your feelings and thoughts. If you want to discover more shocking truths, behind-the-scenes tragedies, and little-known secrets of the stars, don't forget to hit the subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. The stories you just heard are only the tip of the iceberg.